Hello, my darlings. As you know, my beautiful tribe, I do love answering tribe questions. Is this a bit wonky? I think it is. And I have a question from Margaret. And wow, is it a whopper? It is a whopper and a half. It is. And it's really weird because it works in synchronicity with a guest who's going to be my first guest on my podcast show when I finally get my office and get my videos up and running, who's going to talk about the spiritual stuff he's got from the Bible. He's studied the Bible and I cannot wait to talk to him, Stephen Marchand. But this is the question that Margaret asked me. She said, or asked, should we follow the Bible, and was it written by God or by a man? This could open up a whole can of worms, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tread very carefully on this one. My opinion, which is neither right nor wrong, is that Jesus was a medium. He was one of the first most spectacular mediums of our time. And his teachings and his healing showed mankind the availability of our energy and how magnificent human beings with a soul were. And a pineal gland, by the way. So he obviously then had the crucifixion and came back and don't know about that. So part of me, and I've kind of seen an image of him, and I feel he stands in the lines of the great masters like Muhammad, Gandhi, you know, that kind of thing. So that's how I see him. I'm not being disrespectful to Christians if you watch this, but I doubt they'll be watching me because they think I'm like devil incarnate anyway. So that's how I see Jesus. The Bible for me, and this is, I'm going to let you into a little secret here. The Bible for me, well, it won't be a secret if you are one of my subscribed tribe, because you'll know about this because it's in my newsletter. But the Bible to me has been translated millions or thousands of times, and it goes back to thousands of years ago, right? And so I think, really? I also feel that it really does contradict itself. This is why I can't wait to speak with Stephen about this, because 1 minute it's talking about mediums should not converse with the dead. I think is it Revelations? And then the next minute you've got someone talking to Archangel Gabriel. It's telling you to follow a star to like Jesus being born. You've got letters from, St. Paul's to the apostles of prophecy. People are talking to angels and the Holy Spirit is mentioned on nearly every page. Well, that's kind of what we do, just saying. So I think that some of the changes that have been made perhaps are for control purposes, and to eradicate the most powerful religion in the universe, which is spiritualism, that emanates from paganism, druidism. We were the winners when it came to religions in the early days, and they didn't like it. Hence why the pentacle changed to a sign of the devil, when it really was just a sign of abundance and protection. And, Pan, who's like the king of the elementals, is a horned goat, a goat, half man, half goat. But funny enough, that's now the sign of the devil. And so this was all implemented, I think, back in the 1500s, that they needed to kind of get a grip on all these people floating around tree hugging. And so they changed a lot of what we used to worship as pagans and druids into something nasty. And this is where all this devil things come about. So to me, religion, I'm going to say it, I've got no issue with anybody and any religion, but I'm going to say that I feel that religions are used to control people. They are used to torture them if they've created sin. And some of the rules are just absolutely ridiculous. But you'll find that out when you go up. The reason I kind of feel this is because I've brought through Hindus, Jews, all sorts of manner of creed and religions, and they realise when they get up there, it's love that connects us to the universe, not a deity or a book, However, this is the thing that's made me go, Now, you would have seen me do my reading about the Virgos, and one of the things I was really worried about was putting my book out. Now, some of you might have remembered, or about, I think it's mentioned in Me, Myself and I, that I actually had the most profound dream that I've ever had in my life. And it progressed to me writing the dream out, and it turned into a fiction book called Earthwalkers, Children of the Light. and it was the first of 2 books, could potentially go into 3, and it's the most incredible dream I think it's channeling now, that I ever had, because it's all about the end of the world and God deciding whether he should create happenings to wake up humankind so they can save the planet. And when I was writing the book, it's like someone was talking to me, and I found out through me doing my meditations and channeling my guide that I had a Victorian author called Elizabeth Bowen helping me write the book, because some of it I'm like, where did I get that from? The writing is just pretty incredible, if I might say so myself. So basically it wrote itself. The characters' names just dimmed in there, angels' names, places, situations all going in. And when I thought, I'm going to have a little Google at that, and there were certain characters in the book that have got certain duties to God and all the rest of it. And when I looked, I just put their names in just as a little, you know, and I don't want to give too much away because I do not want to spoil this book, because when you read it, you'll hopefully go, oh my God, right? And when I've looked, the names that I've used actually are in the Old Testament, and that's who they actually really are. And I'm like, whoa, things I've described that I saw in the cherubim chamber, things like that, they are in the Old Testament. So if you think about what I've just said about the Bible, I am now, because the reality is the things that I said, I've never read the Bible, I don't know a lot about like biblical stuff apart from the mainstream stuff, you know. Yeah, so characters, names and things like that actually are in the Old Testament. So that's interesting to me, because I'm like, how did I get that then? So yes, I think there must be some truth in it. No, I don't think God wrote it. I feel that it was channeled, if anything, if it has got reality connected to it right the way down the line in the Old Testament, I believe that it was channeled like my book was from a higher source, or whoever that may have been. I don't feel God wrote it. I don't feel that Jesus was God's son. I feel that he was just an ambassador that the omnipresence, or the source of the universe, sent down to try and sort humankind out, because it was killing the planet and themselves, which it's doing now. So going on from that, the Earthwalker book has sat on my computer for 9 years, because someone broke my confidence very early on and smashed it to pieces, to be honest with you. And I just thought, this is just for me to write out as a cathartic thing during my 5-year misery of being in bed when I was poorly, along with my first book, Me, Myself and I. And it kind of stayed there. And then a couple of people, God bless you tribe, have said to me, you keep mentioning this Earthwalkers book, why I can't find it? And I'm like, well, I haven't published it. And I thought, do you know what? And I just realised I should, because the most amazing thing is I've written that and 3/4 of the book too. And incredibly, 9 years ago, everything I've written about has come to pass, including COVID, right? And I'm like, this is a bit spooky. So rather, you take it as you want. It can either be a fantasy romance, if you like, or it could be a prophetic book of fact. Take it as you will. But I didn't want to lose the characters, and I put this in the author's note at the beginning of the book. And I've sent it off to my editor, and it's mostly going to be out before Christmas. So my answer to you, Margaret, is this book, and I think I said this in my email to you, this book is going to answer a lot of what you're saying about whether you should follow the Bible or not. I don't feel anybody should follow anything that's written by someone else. I feel that they should find their own space and their own way forward. And I found that through meditation, finding my spiritual path, and seeing the synchronicities and the signs that are shown to me day in, day out, that make me know that there is something else out there and that they're with me. And I see the spirit people and the angel people now and then that just come down to keep me going on my path and keep me flowing with a passion to help humankind and to do these videos. So it's a very long, convoluted answer to your question, Margaret, but you do what you need to do. If you feel that you need to follow the Bible, do it. do it. If you feel like, no, you're all right, I need to find my own spiritual path, do it. Go to a spiritualist church, go to a normal church, whatever you want to do. When I say normal, you know, Christian church, Catholic church, whatever you want to do. It is up for all of us to find our own way to get a link to the divine whilst we're down on a human experience. Obviously, I'm always going to go the spiritual way, the celestial way, but you do whatever you feel you need to do. But on the balance of things, one, there's quite a lot of fiction in that book, and there's lots of things that don't make sense in it because they kind of band against each other. Two, it's interesting because a lot of the things I was shown and channeled that I thought was a long dream are actually in the Old Testament. That interests me. But let's see what Steve has to say when I interview him for my podcast Soul Space. I'll let you know when I'm doing it. I should be back when I get back from holiday, or possibly after I get back from Florida after the GSIC conference. Whoop whoop. So yeah, that's the answer, Margaret. I hope it's helped you in some way, shape or form. Find your own space, find your, through meditation, walking, and find what your passion is, what higher power you want to connect with to make you feel better and allow you to cope easier on the earth plane. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and get off my soapbox now about the Bible and religion, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Lots of love, tribe.